Hey fellas, it's Saturday, 10 after 10, and we're about 65, 66 in the garage. When I started, when I got out here, it was 50, and yeah, that's going. First things, I got a few things to talk about, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do on the car today. First, this is for ASIC Eric. He's talking about fiberglassing, and let me say, first of all, in no way am I a fiberglass pro. I do it on my radio-controlled boats. I've done it on a few car projects for the interior, on like consoles and stuff, but by no way am I a pro at this. I'm going to tell Eric, basically, this is how I do it. This is how it works for me. If I'm doing it wrong, well, so be it. I'm doing it wrong. Now I've had good results, and so don't be harsh out there, guys. Again, this is how I learned. This is the style I picked up, and whether right, wrong, or indifferent, this is my style. So first of all, this is one of the ongoing radio control projects I got going on. This is a PT boat. The hull's 48 inches long. I know for you purists out there, PT boats were 3 drives, hence the 3 rudder blocks back there. But I just can't find a radio that would sit there and handle me doing all 3 drives. So I got a 2 drive, and it'll work. I could put a dummy shaft in there, but it just caused drag on it. But enough of the PT boat. This is for Eric on fiberglassing. This was an old Dumas kit, and back when they did the hull, the bow wasn't raised up enough. In other words, this portion of the bow wasn't raised up enough, and you can see here where I had the slit, and then we put fiberglass mat in there, and then fiberglassed it over. And then over that is regular automobile Bondo. And yes, it'll stick. You just got to give it some tooth. I usually start with an 80 grit and go with that. You can turn around and you go inside the hull. You can see I had to put a block up to hold it, the hull where I needed it, the top of the hull where I needed it, and then block it up like that. And then this is all matte in here. Matte I've seen you can get in different thicknesses. I've seen it from a 1/16 to an 1/8. I heard you can get it up to a 1/4 and 3/8 of an inch thick. I haven't seen any of that. The stuff that they usually sell in Home Depot and Lowe's is it looks to be about a 1/16 to an 1/8 inch thick. So that's where I get all my stuff. I mean, here, that's the rosin I get from Home Depot. Again, for the boats, this is 2.5 inch cloth, or 2.5 inch, excuse me, 2.5 ounce cloth. It goes by weight as far as, and that's the type that gives you this for the size of the mesh in there, the holes in the mesh. 2.5 ounce. Once you get it in the rosin, the cloth just totally disappears. And that's why I use that. I do buy it in bulk. I got this fiberglass supplier. Hang on, guys. That I deal with, and I do buy it in bulk. It's 2.5 inch. You can see 2.5 inch cloth. It's 56 inches long or wide, and I got 6 yards of it. So Eric, if you need any of it, or if you want any of it, I will be more than willing to cut you off a strip and send it to you. Sorry about this, guys. Should have brought that out. I go to the dollar store and I buy these cheap bowls to mix it in. I put probably about maybe an 1/8 to 3/16 deep in there, and the hardener I will turn around and I'll just put a little pinhole in the end of it, and I'll count 25 to 30 drops depending upon the temperature out here. And that's what I mix. It mixes somewhat like Bondo. The hardener, the more, the faster the chemical reaction, the hotter it'll get, and the faster it'll cure on you. The less, the less it'll be, the long cure time, and longer it'll take to dry. I do it, like I said, 3/16 deep, roughly in these little bowls. I'll put 25 to 30 drops in there, and then I'll just sit. It gives me a lot of work time with the product before it starts hardening up and everything else. And again, that depends upon the outside temperature or the temperature of your shop. The brushes, I get cheap brushes from, again, Home Depot. These are probably, I think, 59 cents a piece or something like that, because once you use them, they're done. I do not use the foam brushes. They hold too much material, and they tend to pull the cloth when you're trying to butter it on. So I don't use the foam brushes at all for fiberglassing. I use the bristle. What I would do if I were you, Eric, is I would take, let's go to the spoiler here, and I would do the spoiler that attached to the quarter panel to do your gap. I wouldn't do the spoiler on the trunk because of the opening and closing. I do it on the quarter panel. I would sit there and I get an old piece of the spoiler and I practice on this, and to do your gaps I would put matte on it, and the matte you'd have to really get absorbent with the rosin. It's got to be pretty well absorbed with rosin on it, and then I would stick it on the end. Remember, he's got a seam here because the one on the trunk or the one on the quarter panel stays on the car, and I would put it up against the face to build your gap that way and see if you can do it that way. The matte, you got to get it loaded with rosin. It'll leave air pockets if you don't, and that could cause you problems later down the road. Once you get the matte on and you get it to where you want it and you sand it down, then I would cover it with cloth. It just gives you the strength and everything else, and a couple of coats, and then sand and go down. I like the 2.5 ounce cloth because it disappears in the rosin. So, and like I said, I'll send you some if you want some. That's basically it. You got my number, so if you ever want to call and chit chat, feel free to do it, and that's about it for that. Also, I got a long overdue mail call. Dwayne Whitaker, he's in Texas. One of these times I'm going to go meet him, and he's working on a Nova. The last couple of videos he put up, he's doing an LS, working on the intake on an LS. So you guys go check out Dwayne. He's got a Nova 74 Nova project he's working on, and check him out. Also, I got some more extra stickers from Summit and from Speedway. Anybody wants these, drop me a line. Let me know. I'll throw them in the mail for you. You can have them. I get so many of these from parts ordering and everything else that I tend to stockpile them up here on top of the fridge. So that's that. So last week I asked Nick Railrat and Fireman 164 to take a couple of pictures of their subframe where the emergency brake cable comes out, and give me some dimensions. And Nick is awesome. He came through. He took a whole bunch of pictures. The height subframe does not have this bracket for the emergency brake. It's on the driver's side. This is the top of the subframe. You're looking down on the top of the subframe. So this bracket comes out with the emergency cable going through and then going on to the roughly right around the drive shaft, the center of the car, to where the Y is. And Nick was awesome in giving me pictures. I got to build this bracket and weld it on the car. I have the keepers, thanks to Jim. He found those and sent them to me. So this is the bracket I got to make and weld it on. But Nick gave me every dimension and photo of this that I can for the location and for everything. Here's where it comes in. Now you're looking, this is the top of the subframe that goes towards the car. This is the bottom that a lot of people put their jack on. Again, the bottom, this is the top, and there's the hole that goes through. So again, Nick, thanks, much appreciated. Like I said, I still have that rear seat if you want it, and I definitely owe you some in and out lunches. So if you ever make it up this way, or if I ever make it down this way, I'll stop in. But I'm not going to stop it in and out and bring it to you. It'll be a little cold by the time I get there. So this is a project that is coming up. That's why I said the car is going to stay on jack stands. This is one of the loose ends I needed to tighten up. And thanks to Nick, I've got pretty much all the information I think I need to sit there, locate, and build that bracket and get the emergency brakes back on the car. So that's it on that. See, other news. We got the drive shaft back from Dan's Driveline in here in Vegas. They had to take a 1/2 inch off of it. And that's the 1/2 inch they took off was down there. They rebalanced it. I've got a weight there, and there's a weight down here at this end. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that's done, and so that can go back into the car. But right now, what I want to do is I'm going to do the driver's side fender and just get that on for the time being and get it off. It's sitting on the patio. We've been having very windy days, and I just want to get the inner fender on and get that off. I did safety wire the bolts for the caliper mounting, so that's done. And so then now just get the inner fender and the outer fender on, and that's what I'm going to do. So this thing's going on 12 minutes. Definitely getting long-winded on this one. So Eric, if you got any questions, dude, you got my phone number. I'd be more than willing to talk to you and give you a hand in whatever you need to come up. If you need some cloth, let me know on that too. Give me a call. Fiberglassing is pretty straightforward. Always wear a respirator, wear gloves, use old clothes, because once you get that rosin on the clothes, it's not coming off. So be prepared to. I have a pair of blue jeans and a T-shirt I just used for fiberglassing. So that's all I got for now. When I got more, I'll turn the camera back on later. Hey fellas, got the inner fender in, and all the bolts are just loose. These are a little tight, but they're loose basically. So if anybody wants to know what this is bed liner. I think I used the let's see, what was it? I had those media blasted, and yeah, it was a Duplicolor bed liner. That's what I use, and got these on. So we're going to stick this on. We're going to get it roughly adjusted where we want it. We're going to leave it there. When the car gets on all 4 tires, we're going to final adjust it. So that's where we're at. We'll probably start fishing some of the wiring through and everything else through this area here to keep it out of hide it and keep it out of the way. And this bracket is loose, so we're set and good to go. So when I get more, I'll turn this back on later. Hey fellas, got the front driver's side fender on. It's on temporarily. You can still see it needs to come out, and just put it on there just to get it out of the wind, and until the car gets down on all fours, and then we'll final adjust it. None of that will be going on. Need to get the cowl into some primer, and so that won't be concentrated on until we get this thing back off of jack stands and 4 tires and get it out of the garage. Got a few more things to do. Like I said, next project up at hand is going to be this emergency brake bracket. I'm going to have to make this bracket. See if there's a better picture of it. Yeah, I'm going to have to make this bracket and then start putting the location together on where it goes. It looks like some pretty stout metal. Yeah, I don't throw nothing away in case I want to use it again. You know, all that back seat stuff's still sitting here. So, again, on the first part of the video is I'm not a pro at fiberglass. I'm a hobbyist, and so by no stretch of the imagination do I think I'm an expert at that. I was just passing on stuff I learned to Eric. Hopefully that'll help him out on taking care of his rear spoiler on his car. Again, being a hobbyist, you just practice at it. I mean, it's no way would I ever do anything and sit there and try to sell it and make money off it. It's like I said, I'm a hobbyist. So if I offended, or if anybody got upset, or if I did something wrong, even if I did something wrong, let me know. Always willing to learn something new or learn a different way of doing something. I'm not that old and closed mind that I won't entertain something new and different. That's going to be it for today. Like I said, next is going to be the emergency brake. There's a list of stuff I want to do. The dry shaft will probably go in along with the dry shaft loop, and we got to retest fit this and work on this, and then the emergency brakes, because those go. You got the dry shaft goes in, exhaust goes up, emergency brakes go. So next week will be the dry shaft, or maybe tomorrow. Excuse me, tomorrow will probably be the dry shaft going in, and work on the dry shaft loop, and then pull all the exhaust out. It's all back in here, in there, and the X pipes there, and get this all out and get this taken care of. The tailpipes that came with this exhaust kit was for a stock Camaro. So, and this, no way is this rear suspension stock, so there's no way they're going to fish in here. And I'm thinking of just cutting them off and doing a turn down and using that. But we'll cut one up and see how it's going to work. And that's another thing what we're going to do with the car up on jack stands. So it's going to be a while before it comes down and we get it. I just wanted to get these fenders off the rear patio and on the car, to where if any damage is going to happen, it's going to be me banging into them and nothing else. So that's all I got for today. I want to thank everybody for watching, subscribing, leaving comments, and y'all have a good day. Later.